Hi there, it's Melissa. Welcome back to my channel. I have a layout today that I made with the January Clique kit, which is Algeria, and it features Fancy Pants Designs Happy Place collection by Kim Watson. So I had this negative piece of paper. My daughter, the oldest one, Azaria, she wanted some butterflies after she'd seen the projects that I'd made with my kit, and so I decided to treat her because she'd been good, and I cut her a whole lot of butterflies. And then she also wanted this piece of paper that they came with, but I decided no, I'm going to keep it and make a layout with it. And I just wanted to show you that you really can use pretty much everything, especially when you're intending to cut the shape and you have leftovers such as this. So I went through the 6x6 paper pad and I'm nearly finished it, which for me is incredible to actually finish a 6x6 paper pad, or to finish a pad of anything really. And I just went through and backed each of the butterflies with some of that paper. I also used the marbled piece there on the left. That was a full sheet of, I think it was basil paper. And so I tried to mix it up so I had plain patterns and then patterned papers. So I had them spread out so they weren't all, what am I trying to say? I didn't have all the plain ones next to each other. And at this point I knew the photos that I wanted to scrap were those two photos of the girls looking at the snow. And you might think, what do butterflies have to do with snow photos? Absolutely nothing, but the photos were quite dark because it was the beginning of the storm and the snow was starting to settle. And so I love working with bright colours, as you know, and I thought that it just worked really well because it was the beginning of what would be a really exciting day the next day. So I tried to machine stitch around the butterflies and I did not do a very good job. So I needed to cover up the part that I tried to machine stitch and where it went wonky. And you know, you can always find a design solution when it comes to scrapbooking. If something doesn't look quite right, you can cover it up. And so I decided to use that label, and although it doesn't look right at the moment, as this video progresses you'll see that I use it to put my journaling on. So here I'm just working out where I'm going to put the main pieces, which are the two photos, and I've staggered them. I'm really into that at the moment with my multi-photo layers. And also I'm using the exclusive printable, which says Day in the Life, and it has the times on it, and a tag. I got the tag add-on, and I've still got heaps left from this kit, so I'm wanting to kill this kit. I know I haven't killed my Clique kits recently. I think I've only killed one of them, but I'm determined to kill this one. So I am still working with this one, and I'm working with the February kit as well. So what I'm doing is just working out the extent of spread of these elements and layers, and I'm wanting to hand stitch around each of the butterflies, which I'm looking at this video, it's only just over 11 minutes long, but in reality this layout took me a few hours. So I don't want to be stitching around anything I don't have to, because hand stitching is quite intensive. So that's why I'm positioning my photos and these other layers, and it's also why I haven't covered all of the butterflies. So now I'm just using pencil, and it's Sam's Star Wars pencil, and I'm just marking where I'm going to have this cluster of paper and photos to sit. And that way when it comes to piercing the holes, I don't need to pierce in between where it will cover, because there's no point. So I'm just showing you quickly the piercing process, and I don't think too hard about it. It doesn't have to be perfect. It's just about making those holes. And now I'm just showing you quickly the stitching, and I just use white thread. And at this point I decided to add watercolours, just a little bit of watercolour on each butterfly in the same colour. Now my camera died, so you missed some of it, but it's pretty much just random like I'm doing here, and then I dab it away with a paper towel, and if it's not dark enough I go back over it. And I love the look of dabbed off and then a little bit more intense. And so I'm using a Stampin' Up! Water brush. I know you can get lots of brushes like this, and you just squeeze it and the water comes out. So I'm really happy with how it's turned out. That's the page with all of the stitching in place, and as you can see on the top right, pink butterfly I haven't stitched half of the butterfly, or I guess it's more like, I don't know, less than half of the butterfly, and that's because I need to cover up the holes that my sewing machine made. I think I may have even left the thread in there where it's gone crooked. So until my stitching gets better, and that's only going to come with practice, I wouldn't attempt to stitch around all these with my machine. But I love how the hand stitching looks, and I especially love that I added the watercolours in. So I've now adhered my main paper layers and photos. Now I'm wanting to get this label down to hide my mistake. No one would ever know. And like I said, I'll be putting my journaling on here. Now when it comes to embellishing this layout, I really wanted those butterflies and stitching to be the main feature, and of course the photos. And so I don't go overboard with embellishing. I'm adding some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals under some parts of my layers just to give a bit of lift. And here I've cut the excess off that label and nothing's wasted, so I'm just going to use this tiny piece on the side of that day in the life card. So as you can see, I've got a ton of embellishments left from the ephemera pack. I feel like I could just keep scrapping forever with this kit. I just absolutely adore this collection. So now I'm adding this little tag, sorry, not tag, label. Tab, I'm sorry. It's really late here, it's after 12. So I added a little bit of tape, and then I've added some staples, and I put another dimensional behind it, and it just says beautiful. And that really says that it's beautiful in terms of snow, but also that my girls are beautiful. So the photo on top was taken at the beginning of the snow, and the photo below is Brielle, and that was taken the next day when Azaria and Sam were outside playing. So this little I guess it's ephemera, was perfect because they were enjoying watching. And I didn't pre-plan this one, except for the butterflies and filling them in with paper. The rest of it has just flowed along, so I haven't cut too much out. I'm just showing you how I go about my process of deciding what goes where. I did think about calling it Hello Life because living in Queenstown is an alpine resort and a good snow dump is part of our life, or we would like it to be anyway, in the years that it doesn't happen that often. And now I'm just playing around, wanting to use up pieces that are relevant, and that one says hooray, and I think it looks better being the darker than the little circle I had before. I think it said yes, it was just getting lost in all the white. And now I'm turning to the embellishments that I have in this little case, and still thinking about the Hello Life, but deciding no, I do want to use those 7 paper Studio Calico stickers that I haven't used yet. And I wanted to get the maximum use out of them because you only get one of each letter. So I decided to call the layout Snow Day. Now I'm aware that I've probably got several layouts over the years called Snow Day, but it is what it is. I don't want to reinvent the wheel. And it uses up quite a lot because there's only one of each letter in the 2 words. Now I don't mind that it's blending into that red of the butterfly. It can still be seen. I don't want the title to totally dominate this layout. I still want the eye to be drawn towards the photos, and I think that in the end that is achieved, especially because of the darkness of the silhouettes of their heads against the snow. So I'm just making sure I've got the positioning right and happy with that. At this point I'm not that happy with the bow that I've tied in the tag, and I have a thing where I have to have the tags with twine in them, so just considering what I'm going to do. I did consider having that big ampersand, but again I think it's too big and takes away from the today. So now I'm turning to these stickers, and the little camera looks good there, and I'm wanting to use up more of that sheet in particular, so I've put the heart. And I'm just, I'm loving these little, I like enamel, fake enamel dots and shapes, and they are so super cute. So I had a bit of it stuck to my sheet or my paper block behind there, so I've just, it was adhesive that never got stuck to anything because of the butterflies, the holes where I hadn't filled them in, so I just covered it with a piece of paper, and I'm still going through these enamel or fake enamel shapes. And there was a smiley face, and I thought, I don't know what I'm ever going to use it on, so I'll use it on this. I love the way that pink and yellow look together, and a snow day is a happy thing in our house because it generally means a day off school or a day off work. Although not for me, because I work from home, so it means a day off school, so the rest of them are happy. And I keep fussing around with sticking down those letters. The Y is kind of floating on top of the label, but I think it will be good. I can always sort it later. And now I've decided to staple that excess twine down. And I'd run out of staples, so I just left it with one. And I'm just going to trim it and then pull it up a little bit so there's a bit more of a loop. So now I'm adding my journaling. Nothing too exciting. It's really just saying about what's happening in the photos and how excited we are. I think I put that about a snow day and how the girls are watching. So that is pretty much all of my layout. Thank you so much for watching, and I will be back later on in the week. Have a great day.